So, here I am, Chris again, and I'm going to tell you one of my other crazy, wild stories. This one actually isn't D&D. This is actually from the Hero system. And this game we ran when I was in Iraq in 2005, 2006. And so when I got over there, you know, we had a little bit of downtime in between missions and stuff. And I ended up running into another person that played the Hero system. Now, I had gotten into the Hero system originally with my good friend Chris Bodani. And for the love of God, I don't know where that guy went to, but that guy was like my best friend growing up. But I absolutely love the system. Hero system provided us ability to do all kinds of crazy things, and I loved it. It was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful system. And I had purchased the book, and I had tried to get games together, and to no avail. I mean, I just couldn't get anyone to play it. And I mean, in the defense of Hero System, I mean, we're talking about the rule book is like the size of a telephone book. It's huge. It's really in depth, and you have to be devoted to actually learn this system. But the system is, I want to say, it's like Mythos in the sense that the more complex you get with the system, the more realistic the system becomes, and the more you could do with the system. And so when I was in Iraq, and I ran into this guy, and I'm not going to give out his name because he's because I have my reasons. But so we, you know, I ran into him and we were talking, and we got stuck on duty together one time, and come to find out we were both role players, and we were both familiar with the Hero system, and so we're like, we should get together and run a game. And so he wanted to GM it, and he was more familiar with the system. I had played in the system, I had owned the book, I had read the book, but I wouldn't consider myself proficient enough to run the system from a perspective of being a GM. Now, we were able to gather up a couple people, and so we ended up having a party of 4, and you know, he ended up making this game, and you know, went extensive into my background, made this great character and stuff, and the genre was it was a post-apocalyptic zombie game, and the guy was a huge fan of like Resident Evil and stuff like that, and so and I love zombies. I mean, I'm a huge zombie fan, so we end up going through the mini quest with all the characters, and we end up like creating all the characters, and we sit down and we go to play this game. Now we're playing this game about once a week or something like that, to that effect, and it's good. It's a good game. It's nice, smooth. Now he's got something going behind it and everything, and I don't quite know what's going on, and I didn't know this guy this well. And so I was, I didn't know him as well as I thought I knew him. And so he said a bunch of things that just weren't consistent to me within his home life. And sometimes you just hear weird stuff and you're just like, whatever. So but we were playing the game, and the game was a good game. I mean, we had all these different types of zombies that you're fighting, and each time the zombie hits you, there was a chance that the zombie would infect you, and if the zombie infected you, you became a zombie. So the game was, in a lot of ways, it was like Dungeon Crawl Classics. I mean, you were on the verge of death in this entire game. I'm not shitting. You were on the verge of death in this entire game. I mean, every time we turned around, you know, if you got hit, you know, or if they got a hold of you, they would grab you, start biting. You're done. That's it. You know, you turn into a zombie. There was no cure present in the game, and it was you know, very realistic in that sense. And I meant that, and they had they had slow moving zombies, and they had the fast moving zombies, and stuff like that. And there were zombies that were, I forgot the George Romero movie that he had, but the ones that basically had super strength, could climb on walls, climb on ceilings, and shit like that, and everything. And when you're trying to hit something like that, I remember every single time trying to shoot this thing and missing, every time. And you know, because he brought it out several times and everything to make that point known that you can't hit this thing, and it's a zombie. It's a zombie. It bites you. It turns you. You turn into a zombie. That's it. End of story. And so we're playing this very brutal game, and somehow we're alive. I mean, I don't know. It's just we just kept getting lucky, and he was rolling the dice in front of us. We just lucked out, and somehow we got 4 players, and everything we do, we're still alive. And we're several weeks into this, and you know, I don't know, but all of our characters, we know each other real well, and we're getting to this point where, you know, that we have really good cohesion. Now, my character was he was a record salesman, and like I wanted to do a soldier because I was a soldier, and if you don't know this, and you try to make a soldier in HeroScape, you're pretty much trying to make a superhero, because of the skills that a military member has is ridiculous. So I mean, it's kind of like you know, yay, my ego just went up, you know, because I literally can't make myself into a character because me as a character was, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But I ended up making this record salesman, and you know, who had his like little underground basement and stuff like that, and he happened to have a couple of Uzis and stuff like that. And so he, you know, the concept was that he would, you know, fire these 2 Uzis, and he would do like kind of a spray and pray, but he was pretty effective at using these Uzis and stuff. You know, there was one guy was the GM himself. He was playing a police officer. He was able to work a police officer into it, pistoleering police officer, and trying to remember the other guys in the group, but it was essentially like that. You know, everybody had their own thing. And I mean, like, we're talking about, like, every time we see each other, we're making them strip down nude and everything, make sure that they don't have any bite marks. And, you know, because you get bit, you turn into a zombie, game over for you. And you turn into a zombie fairly quickly. And so, you know, that's it. You know, and so it was a very dark campaign. And, you were pretty much meant to die. In fact, he openly stated, and this was out of character, he told me, because he and I used to get stuck on duty all the time, and he openly told me, he said, you know, the chances of you guys making out of here is really next to none. He's like, it's possible, but it's very unlikely that you guys will make it out. You know, you probably have a better chance that one of you might make it out than opposed to all of you. So he really instilled the the fear that we're all going to die. And you know, and we witnessed someone turn into a zombie, an NPC turn into a zombie after getting bit. And so it was very, you know, it was right there. We were always on the verge of death, and so here comes my craziness of the story, is so I'm playing in this game, And well, we get into this hospital, and we're traversing this hospital, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff in hospital that you can use, medical supplies and various other stuff that you can use to your advantage. Well, we had jumped from building to building. Well, because they had collapsed the walls and stuff like that. So we were doing all kinds of crazy Spider-Man navigation to get around throughout this building. And this adventure was unforgiving as all hell. And we had gotten to a point where we were trapped. And I know you guys seen you've seen zombie movies. You've seen this type of stuff before. And we got trapped. And we got to a point where we had this long corridor that was suspended over that was suspended over and attached to buildings off the floor. So it was like 3 or 4 stories up. So theoretically, we had to go that way. We came through this one door that was adjacent here. The wall behind us down the hallway was collapsed, and so there was no way going backwards. And the way that we just came is just filled with zombies, and the door was shut, and we were holding that door there, and the entire hallway this way is filled with these zombies, and there's this cart, and the cart has a huge oxygen tank on it. And so my character gets the great idea of, okay, we can't go this way. The zombies are pouring in on us, and there was more than we could handle. We can't go this door here because, all these zombies are backfilling into here, and we can't go back that way and everything because, it's small confines, lots of zombies, and we just can't go that way. So we were literally trapped, and we were sitting ducks, and it was just a matter of time before all the zombies came in and freaking did us in. So my character got the idea, so he kicks the freaking the cart with the oxygen tanks on it out into the center of the zombies. And they have 1 round to be able to reach us. So, I'm paying very closely attention to what's going on here. And so I take my weapons and the extra partial action, and I shoot the tanks, and I miss. So I'm left with one option. Either we let the zombies come over and overcome us, or I kamikaze myself and blow up the oxygen tanks manually. And so my character goes out like this hero and runs up there, blows up the tanks, and there was a small chance that he might survive through it and everything. So I was hoping for that. Yeah, it's always nice to be a martyr that survives, but he doesn't. And so blows up, kills the zombies, and saves the group. And the rest of the zombies pour through, and they fall down to their death. Well, their undeath down between the gaping hole that was there, and allows the party to continue on, with my sacrifice. So he goes. So after I do all that and everything, and so I'm like, well, that sucks. So now I have to make another character, and I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. And so he says, no. I'm like, what? He's like, no. And I said, what? And so he tells me that characters that suicide themselves, he won't let those players play in his games anymore. I was like, what? Characters that suicide themselves, you cannot play in my game anymore. He's like, I was like, why? He's like, that's my rule. And I'm like, okay, now you realize that my character martyred himself for the party survival. He's like, still my rule. What? So I'm like, you're joking with me, right? And he's like, no, I'm serious. I made this rule a long time ago, and you know, I always stand by my rules. And I was like, you put us in a situation that there was no escape. You know, you know that there was no escape at the situation. He's like, well, I mean, you guys could have taken out the zombies and everything. And I'm like, you know that there was no way that we could have taken out the zombies without taking some bites. And I was like, and that would have been just it. And those people would have turned into zombies. He's like, yeah, that was a possibility. And I was like, so my character martyred himself for the purpose of being able to save the party, you know, because we're playing in a campaign where one bite kills. You know, you get a bite, it becomes infectious, and you die. And he's like, yeah, I understand. I was like, did I do something that pissed you off throughout the game or something? Is there something that I don't know about? Is it, you know, has there been this friction here and that I wasn't aware of it? And, you know, you've got this friction with me, but I wasn't aware of it. Maybe I was doing something that pissed you off. Maybe I was doing something, you know, that made the game hard. It's like, no. I think you're a great role player. I think you really go into character. And I think that, you know, you really know the system, and you're actually very beneficial to have in the game. But I have a rule. And if a player character suicides their character, I refuse to let them play in the game anymore and play in any future games. I'm like, so you made an arbitrary rule that because of whatever situation there was then, and you made it black and white, and then when someone does it and in a reason, so to save the rest of the group, like my character, I wasn't suiciding my character because I was upset with the way things were happening. I didn't suicide my character because I was angry. I didn't suicide my character because of all this. I was playing my character. I role played him out, and I saw the situation for what it was, and I said, okay, it's better to die a valiant death, saving the rest of the party because we're playing in a zombie game, than to have us all get bitten and we all die. And or you know, half the party gets turned into zombies and then there's only 2 players left, but then I guess those 2 or 3 players can rewrite characters. You know, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. I know, and I know what you're saying, and I you know, it makes sense, but I have the rule. I made this rule a long time ago, and I refuse to go back on it. I was like, okay, well, one last thing, you know, because I want to get this out there. We're in Iraq. You know as well as I know, we ain't got a goddamn thing we can do out here. You know? And I'm pretty sure that I am the only other person on this entire fob that knows how to play this damn game system. And I'm pretty sure, and you know as well as I know, that there is 3 more role players on this entire fob. And we've met them all. You know? You still want to stick by this black and white rule and everything because you arbitrarily made it up and you're just feeling autocratic about it. Yeah, man, I have to stay by my rules, man. If you know, I gotta stay by my rules. So he pulled like some type of, I don't know, some type of weird Rain Man crap, And you know, he admitted to me that what I did actually most likely saved more lives. What I did was self-sacrifice. It was martyrdom. It was good for the party and everything. But he had made up this rule for whatever reason. I never found out what the reason was for, but he made up this rule that he absolutely, utterly, emphatically refused to let anyone play in his game anymore if they committed suicide. And I don't know, maybe this is something personal, maybe one of his parents did it, or maybe one of his family members did it, and you know, something like that or whatever. But he that was hands down the weirdest, most stubborn stuff I had ever seen. Um, and I just I couldn't believe it. I thought he was kidding for like the longest time, because I mean, like, it was very obvious that what my character's intentions were. It was very obvious that it was needed to be done. It was very obvious, you know, what, you know, my character, you know, he stayed in character, you know. He admitted that he loved my role playing style. He loved how you know, I was able to help out with the other people with the rules. I was able to, you know, you know, to be there, and that I was an asset, and that I would be a loss. It would be a huge loss without me there. That he made it very clear to me that he made that decision completely based off the fact that he has a rule that, even though it didn't fit in that situation, that he made that rule and he has to arbitrarily stand by it. And so I don't know what the hell that was about, but he had some type of, I don't know, some issue. But it was a good game, and I had a blast, and you know, and I love the hero system, and it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And you know, you know, I still stand by my decision. You know, it was the right decision to make for the group, and you know, and it does cross my mind every once in a while. You know, what happened in this man's life that caused him to come up with this crazy ass rule? And you know, because if someone martyred their character in my game, you know, to save the rest of the group, you know, you know, I would definitely that'd be pretty baller for someone to do that. Um, and I don't know. I don't I for the life of me, I don't know. I would love to. I tried looking him up before, um, by looking up his old military unit to try and track him down. But you got to keep in mind, this really, if Facebook existed at this time, it barely existed. So trying to find this guy, you know, and I never knew his first name, because in the military we don't use first names. I mean, you have to be pretty close with a person before you know their first name, or you have to have two of the same last names before you start learning someone's first name. It just, you know, their last name, and so uh, being able to track this guy down was kind of difficult. You know, because I do. I want to ask him. I'm like, dude, what was what was the deal with that, man? That was really, really, really strange of you. Um, you know, not like I want the guy to change, but why? That's just that's so weird, and to just, I don't know, to be so black and white and so autocratic about stuff. Um, but anyways, that's my strange story about that. I don't know. Um, I've seen some really weird stuff, and I'll put more stories on here. But I thought that was really strange, and I thought you guys like to hear it.